Hello students, today we are going to start a lesson that is When I Was 12 written by R.K. Laxman. I am going to explain the lesson. You have to read it from the book. This lesson is from his autobiography. He says that he went to Kannad Municipal School, which was very stylish and beautiful school. Unlike today, it is government school, and the school was taken care by Maharaja of Mysore. All the teachers in the school were very good, and during the younger days, teachers helped them how to prepare for exam. Each and everything was explained by the teacher. When the teacher was there in the class, everyone was scared of them, means they all used behave properly and in discipline, but the author didn't like arithmetic teacher because he's very strict and has no sympathy towards children. As the teacher used to enter in the class, he starts with his math sum, in which even if the students knew the answer, they never gave the answer because they had fear that even if they give up correct answers, they will be beaten by the teacher. Even they talk very softly, then also the teacher used to twist their ears and scold them. The author used to make his caricatures. Caricatures means some funny drawings of a person like the cartoons drawn in newspaper or any magazine. One day, on a blackboard, a simple sum was written. Ram has 3 mangoes and Krishna has 4 mangoes. But the author was unable to solve it and thought teacher would not ask him the question. So he hid behind the boys. Those were of the same height, and he started sketching something. It was like tiger. After that, as the teacher continued asking the questions, he was sketching and he made something like a man with short mustache and teeth. The teacher was in the first row and the author was in the last row. He was completely involved in making the caricature. Suddenly, he felt pain in his left ear. He turned and saw the teacher was twisting his ear and thinks that the master is twisting my ear because I have drawn his sketch. Writer compared the teacher to a monster. The teacher said that you have drawn my writer says no sir, but by looking at the sketch, teacher can say that it was his sketch, so writer was punished at this time. The writer realized that he was a good sketcher. From that day, it was his hobby to inanimate a human figure as an object or animal. He says you that you may also ask how the animal or objects can be related to human beings. When he look at the people, he would make out some look like giraffe and some like monkey, and those how are dressed properly, they are like prince and looked like car. He say that even today he didn't understand the sum, but because of that incident in the classroom, he got to that he is good at making caricatures. His art is to make the people some different from the reality, like whosoever it is he can make them fun or giving some different personalities to them. This is his profession and people do like those caricatures. Now he tell about the another incident. It was his sister marriage, and at that time cook was very important in the wedding. As he came, everyone stood for him, offered him coffee. Writer was sitting in the corner making a sketch and listening the conversation. As he was about to go, Someone said, "You cannot go without coffee," so he sat. As everyone was relaxed and the cook also sit down and had his coffee, writer cousins saw his caricature and started laughing. Everyone and wanted to see what he made, so everyone came near him. After that, cook asked, "What was it?" He saw the sketch and said, "I'm not going to cook for this wedding. I have cooked for many people, but no one insulted me like this." He went out. Everyone ran after him to stop. Then a clever uncle was called to stop. He made him stop. For this, his parents did scold him. They neither encouraged him nor discouraged him for his profession. This all tell us how writer developed his passion for caricaturing. Now, the summary of the lesson is also given here, and the animation video is also provided for the better understanding and correct pronunciation.
When I was 12, we all went to a Kannada municipal school. It was a most elegant school, not the kind of municipal schools we have today. Don't forget that the Maharaja of Mysore himself took a special interest in the school. All the teachers, with rare exceptions, were excellent. All our younger days were completely wrapped up in the experiences we had at school, the teachers, having to pass an examination. Every child dreads the presence of a teacher, but I had a particularly nasty one. Being an arithmetic teacher, I don't think he had any sense of compassion, pity. He was only committed to his arithmetic. Somebody has 3 mangoes, someone has 4, together how much? This simple thing we couldn't get the hang of. We could have, but he was such a formidable character that we felt that even if we'd got the right answer, we'd be beaten anyway. So we mumbled, and he twisted our ears and shouted. He was the target of my caricature. One day he'd written the usual sum on the blackboard. Ram has 3 mangoes, Krishna has 4. It was a simple sum, but quite beyond me. I thought he'd not ask me, so I sat hiding behind the others, who, like me, were all short little boys. I started sketching. It looked very much like a tiger, a man with bristling moustache, teeth, and all that developed as the questions went on. He was in the first row, I was in the last. I got involved in the caricature. Suddenly I felt a piercing pain in my left ear. I turned. This monster was twisting my ear for having drawn him. He said, "So you have drawn me?" I said, "No, sir, I did not draw you." But he could recognize it through all that likens to a tiger, that it was he. Of course, I was punished. That was the time I realized the art of caricature. I saw,
My God! Indeed, he does look like a tiger.
my attempt was not to draw a tiger, but I drew the face of a tiger subconsciously as an extension of the man's personality. To me, he was a tiger. From then on, it almost became a hobby for me to liken human figures to inanimate objects or animals. You might ask, what is it that relates things or creatures to personality? I used to stand and watch the city bus. It always looked like someone I knew. People spilling out of the bus began to take the shape of a giraffe or a monkey or a Cadillac belonging to one of the Maharajas of Mysore, which used to stand in the porch next door. To me, it looked like a prince. There is a personality that gets rubbed off onto inanimate objects. Even today, I feel that I got nothing out of the 2 plus 4 minus 1, but I gained something invaluable that day in the classroom. I'll tell you of another incident that is connected with the art of caricature. The art I have chosen is one which rubs everyone on the wrong side. From the Prime Minister to the policeman, from the President to the priest, they are all ridiculed. That is my profession. So long as it's about others, people like it. It was my sister's wedding, a very big affair. In the South, the one who is very important at the time of the wedding is the cook. He was treated like a prince because the entire reputation of the wedding depended on this man's cooking. So that day, when he came, there was a general cry,
He's come! He's come!
People who never stood up for anyone also stood up. How to entertain him? To offer coffee to him is just not done because he's the one who makes excellent coffee. Discussions began. Everyone hung upon his words. "What do you want?" he asked.
We don't have to tell you what we want. You know best.
That pleased him. After an hour he said, "I want this much rice, this much ghee, this much." While all this was happening, I was in a corner of the room sketching as usual, because I was a compulsive sketcher right from the age of 3. While I was sketching, I was listening to the conversation. It seemed like they were ordering enormous quantities of food, but in those days everything was so cheap. Discussions ended. He was about to go when someone said,
You can't leave without coffee. Of course, it won't be good, but we'll be highly honored.
So he sat on. Everybody was relaxed. To get the man himself was difficult, but to get the man to sit down and have coffee. At that time, one of my cousins saw my caricature and began to giggle. The laughter spread like wildfire. Everyone wanted to have a look at the sketch. The group started moving towards me behind the pillar. The man found that his circle had diminished. "What is it?" he asked good-humouredly. Everybody thought it was a good likeness, but he took one look and fell grimly silent. "I'm not going to cook for this marriage," he said, and began to make his way out. Members of the family, senior ICS officers and others in high government posts ran after him. "You have called me here to insult me?" he said. "I have cooked for the Maharaja. I have cooked for the Supreme Court judges. I have cooked for... but never have I been insulted like this. Goodbye. Thank you." And he stormed out. Then a very clever uncle was called upon to woo him back. How he did it is another story. You might think I was roundly scolded for this major catastrophe. I wasn't. My family always supported me. I don't know why. As an enlightened family, my parents neither encouraged me nor discouraged me. Mercifully, they left me alone. These same parents left me with a piece of chalk at the age of 3. This changed to a pencil at the age of 6 or 7. Then came color pencils and paint boxes. I am grateful to them, and they were very proud of me as I progressed from class to class.